Of the $1.3 million that the Department of Public Works owes, about $600,000 is in unpaid vendor contracts. $400,000 is listed as payment for Hanjin, a contractor who did construction work at the Chamorro Village that goes back to 1995. The remaining $200,000 is in various vendor contracts. DPW Director Vince Areola says that he's unsure why his department still has the $200,000 for various vendors on their books, as those contracts have exceeded a statute making these payables invalid.
As I understand, there's a statute that holds those payables for 3 years, and we met with DOA. They're not carrying them the payables on their books. I'm not exactly sure why this department has been carrying it on their books since some as far back as 2004.
Director Areola says that it's his position to write those payables off as soon as he can clear it with legal counsel. However, he says that the vendors, if they are inclined, can pursue remediation through the Government Claims Act. As for the monies owed to Hanjin, although there was an attempt by the legislature back in 2013 to pay the contractor for their work through Bill 18-32, the bill was not passed. At the time of the proposed legislation, the payment owed to Hanjin had already exceeded the statute of limitations. Of the $400,000 owed, just over $100,000 was in principal and over $200,000 in interest. Director Areola is researching the case to understand why the payment was never made.
Surprisingly, it's not in litigation, but it's such a big amount. We certainly have to take a look at it. I want to, of course, get to the bottom of it. If those amounts are in fact due, we'll try to straighten that out.
The major outstanding debt is approximately $700,000 in back pay, sick and annual leave, and reasonable attorney fees that the Civil Service Commission awarded to Franklin Castro. The director says that his department does not have the funding and the matter is with the Magahaga.
The governor's office has been notified of that. I've talked to them, and they're very much aware of that.
But Director Areola says he's working with the AG's office on a strategy to offset the $700,000 in taxpayer monies the CSC has granted Castro.
We are researching to see if he's had any jobs, any type of income, because that would be our position. Is if you've had income, then it would be a dollar-to-dollar offset. Assuming that there's a one-on-one write-off, that could conceivably go down. We don't know that number yet. I just spoke with the Attorney General about 2 weeks ago, and so we're waiting for information from Mr. Castro to determine that.
In Castro's case file, the CSC stated that his termination notice, quote, lacked the requisite specificity, end quote, as provided by GovGuam's personnel rules and regulations, and that an employee is entitled to written notice of the department's decision within 10 days after receipt of the employee's answer to the charge or charges. And what were the charges? In the case file document, it listed the following: refusal of failure to perform prescribed duties and responsibilities, unauthorized absence, misuse or theft of government property, and other misconduct not specifically listed. But the CSC ruled that Castro's final notice, quote, fails to provide the employee notice of the actual basis for the final adverse action, end quote. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Julius Santos.